Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today based on some really interesting articles, focusing on, well, that feeling. You know the one?
Oh, I think I do.
Yeah, when the clock glows, say 3 a.m., and bam, your eyes just snap open.
Yep, wide awake.
And suddenly the ceiling. It's the most fascinating thing in the entire world, especially if you're maybe over 60.
Hmm.
We actually heard from a listener, let's call her Sarah, she's 67, and she described this exact thing, night after night, just staring into the dark.
That frustration.
Exactly. Feeling that frustration, wanting sleep, needing sleep, but just, it's not happening. That's the problem, right? That lonely feeling.
Precisely. And Sarah's struggle, I mean, it's so common, unfortunately, that the research is pretty clear here. Something like 50% of adults over 60 say they have trouble sleeping.
Half of them.
Yeah, and get this, 75% report symptoms of insomnia.
Okay.
So that frustration you mentioned, that internal battle, it feels isolating, but it also has real external consequences, big ones.
Absolutely. It's so easy to just think, oh, well, I'll just be a bit tired tomorrow. No big deal.
Right. Muddle through.
But the science, it paints a much starker picture. There are real risks you face when sleep just won't come consistently.
Definitely. We're talking established links now to things like cardiovascular disease,
Right. And increased risk of depression, too.
higher chance of falls, which is a major concern as we age.
And even, and this is the one that really worries people, I think, a potential connection to dementia.
Yeah, serious stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just about feeling groggy the next day. It really impacts your long-term health, your well-being.
So if we tie this into the bigger picture, aging, restorative sleep becomes even more vital, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Look, as we age, our bodies naturally face new challenges.
Mhm.
Our immune systems might not be quite as robust.
Okay.
The brain's natural cleanup crew, the one that works during sleep, that can become less efficient.
Right. I've read about that. Detoxification.
Exactly. And you might just notice changes in concentration, or maybe mood regulation feels harder. So
Yeah.
good, consistent, restful sleep. It's not a luxury item. It's fundamental. It's how you navigate these changes and keep living a, vibrant life. The philosophical challenge, I suppose, is how do you hang on to that vitality, that independence, when sleep, this core function, is disrupted?
So here you are, right? You're facing this very real problem, sleepless nights, these potential health risks looming.
Yeah.
That's the tough spot.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like most people, your first thought when sleep goes sideways might be, okay, quick fix.
The easy button.
Right. A sleeping pill, maybe try one of those meditation apps, focus really hard on, sleep hygiene, dark room, no screens.
All the rules.
Yeah.
And those things, look, they can be helpful. They're pieces of the puzzle for
Right.
sure. But this raises a question, doesn't it? What if there's a guide, maybe an approach we've kind of overlooked, that offers a more direct, maybe more powerful way back to good
A
sleep?
different path.
Exactly. And recent research is actually pointing towards a surprising but really effective tool, something in our arsenal that could help you reclaim those lost hours.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. This is where it gets really interesting, you're saying.
I think so.
The unexpected answer. The guide that might just flip how you think about getting ready for bed is muscle power.
Muscle power. Yes. Strength training.
You mean like resistance training? Lifting weights?
That's the one. Weight training, resistance training, whatever you want to call it.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. There was a study published in the Family Medicine and Community Health Journal that really shone a light on this.
Tell me about it.
Well, researchers analyzed data from, get this, over 2,000 adults, all age 60 and older.
Okay.
And they were specifically looking at how different kinds of exercise impacted their sleep quality. They were essentially acting as guides, mapping out what worked.
That is surprising. My first guess would have been like aerobic exercise.
Yeah.
Relaxing walk, maybe swimming, something calming. Why the difference? What exercises did they actually compare?
Good question. They looked at a whole range. So yes, aerobic exercise, walking, swimming, cycling, that kind of thing. Also combined activities like yoga and Pilates. Exercises focused purely on balance, flexibility training, so stretching,
Okay, covering the bases.
and crucially, strength training, which is basically any exercise where your muscles have to work against some kind of resistance.
So that could be weights or...
Weights, yes, or resistance bands, or even just using your own body weight for resistance.
Got it.
And here's the kicker. While pretty much all forms of exercise showed some positive effect on sleep, strength training came out as the clear leader.
Really?
Yeah. In terms of significantly improving sleep quality, the degree of improvement compared to the others was quite striking.
So why? Why is making your muscles work against resistance, like lifting something or pulling a band, so much better for sleep than, say, going for that nice long walk? What's the connection? What's actually happening in the body?
Okay, this is the really cool part, the physiology. Strength training seems to trigger several key things inside us that are just really good for sleep. Well, firstly, it seems to help regulate hormones. Specifically, it promotes the release of melatonin.
Ah, melatonin, the sleep hormone everyone talks about.
Exactly. Your body's natural signal that it's time to wind down and sleep. Strength training basically sends a powerful message to your body. Time to recover, time to rebuild. And those processes, they're deeply linked to our sleep cycles.
Interesting. So it's like the muscle repair process signals sleep, more than just getting tired from cardio.
It seems that way. Those micro tears in muscle tissue from resistance work trigger repair mechanisms. And that process seems to have a more direct positive effect on sleep regulation, especially in older adults, compared to just sustained aerobic activity.
Okay, melatonin boost. That makes sense. What else? Is there more going on?
Oh yeah. Secondly, strength training helps lower levels of cortisol,
The stress hormone.
the stress hormone, exactly. When cortisol levels are high, maybe from daily stress or just physiological changes, it really interferes with sleep.
Keeps you wired.
Right. So by reducing cortisol, strength training helps promote that feeling of relaxation you need to actually fall asleep and, importantly, stay asleep.
Less stress hormone, more sleep hormone.
And there might be other factors too, like how it influences your body's core temperature rhythm, maybe even reducing some low-grade inflammation, both of which can mess with sleep.
Wow. Okay, so less stress, more melatonin, body repairing itself. That sounds like a pretty powerful recipe for getting those nights back.
It really is.
But what does this actually look like for someone like Sarah, our listener? Does she suddenly need to, join a CrossFit gym or become a power lifter?
No, not at all. And that's the beauty of this solution, this path. It doesn't require heavy weights or super intense workouts to start seeing that transformation.
That's good to hear.
We're talking about practical, really easy to implement exercises, things you can do at home. Minimal equipment, sometimes none.
Okay, give me some examples.
Think about arm exercises, using like filled water bottles or soup cans for weight. Doing squats while holding onto a chair for support works the legs. Just making a point to climb stairs whenever you can instead of the elevator. Using those stretchy resistance bands, great for arms and legs. Even simple wall push-ups. These small actions, they're the first steps. They start the change.
Those all sound doable, actually very manageable.
Yeah.
So if someone listening wants to try this, wants to follow this guide to better sleep, what's the plan? How often, how long should they aim for?
Well, the general recommendation, both from this kind of research and broader exercise guidelines, is to aim for strength training exercises about 2 to 3 times per week.
Okay, not every day.
No, your muscles need time to recover and rebuild. And each session, maybe around 30 minutes.
30 minutes 2 or 3 times a week.
Exactly. And the real key here, like with any journey towards change, is consistency, regularity. It's about making it a habit, something reliable in your routine, not just doing it once or twice.
That sounds much less daunting than, feeling like you have to hit the gym hard every single day. And it's such a different approach compared to just reaching for a sleeping pill when you can't drift off.
Right.
What are the downsides of sticking with that pill path? What are the risks there?
Yeah, that's a really crucial contrast to draw. Sleep aids might feel like they give you control in the short term. Right. But relying on them long term, that carries real risks.
Such as?
Well, you can develop tolerance, meaning you need more and more of the drug to get the same effect.
Right.
There's also the potential for dependence, finding it even harder to sleep without them.
Right.
And particularly concerning, especially for older adults, is the increased risk of things like memory impairment and falls. Balance can be affected.
That's a serious risk.
Very serious. Exercise, on the other hand, specifically strength training here, it offers a safe way, basically side effect free, to not only improve your sleep, but also boost your overall health and well-being. It empowers you. You're taking control naturally.
It really feels like we've been so focused on treating the sleeplessness itself, that maybe we've overlooked this fundamental solution that's rooted in just maintaining our physical strength.
I think that's a great way to put it.
And this is all happening, as you mentioned, against this backdrop of a massive demographic shift, isn't it? The need for good, sustainable solutions is just growing.
It really is. You mentioned this statistic earlier, but it bears repeating. For the first time ever, there are more people on the planet over 65 than under 18.
Wow.
So this aging population means sleep problems are just becoming more and more common. And if we don't embrace solutions like this, proactive solutions, the potential social impacts, economic impacts, they could be huge.
Yeah.
It just underscores how important it is to empower people, empower you listening, to find sustainable ways to improve your own health and well-being.
So it's not just about feeling better individually, though that's huge. It's almost a public health issue brewing.
You could definitely frame it that way.
And it feels like there's a mindset shift needed, too. You often hear people say, oh, I'm too tired to exercise. I can't sleep, so I can't possibly exercise. It's this vicious cycle.
Exactly. That internal narrative, I can't exercise because I can't sleep, it keeps you stuck.
Right.
But this research, it suggests we need to completely flip that script. It's much more like, I need to exercise specifically, add some strength training so that I can sleep better.
Exercise to sleep, not sleep to exercise.
Precisely. The muscle movement, the resistance work, it's like the key that unlocks the door back to restful nights. It breaks that cycle.
That's a really powerful shift in thinking, a real transformation in perspective. And you mentioned Sarah, our listener, earlier. Did she actually experience this? What happened when she decided to try this new approach, this guide?
Yes. So remember, she was stuck with those 3 a.m. wake-ups, feeling trapped, exhausted. She decided, okay, what have I got to lose? She started incorporating some really simple strength training into her routine.
What?
Just 4 weeks later, 4 weeks, she was telling us she was sleeping for 6 uninterrupted hours.
Wow. From staring at the ceiling to 6 straight hours.
6 straight hours. Something she said she hadn't experienced in years. She's now apparently a regular fixture in her local park in the mornings, doing arm exercises with her resistance bands.
That's fantastic. What a great story.
Isn't it? It's just a perfect example of the power of taking that first step, embracing that change. Real transformation.
It really brings the research to life. So the big takeaway here, the core message, isn't just about, getting buff or lifting heavy things.
Well,
It's about recognizing that our muscles, they play this much bigger role than just helping us move around. They're actually integral to our overall well-being and, crucially, our sleep quality.
exactly right. Muscle strength, maintaining it, is fundamentally linked to your quality of life. And that absolutely includes the quality of your sleep. So by addressing sleep issues through this lens, through strength training,
Yeah.
you're not just aiming for a better night's rest.
There's more to it.
There's more. You're potentially preserving your memory, boosting your mood, helping prevent falls, and ultimately leading a more vibrant, more fulfilling later life. It's about reclaiming your nights so you can transform your days.
So if you're out there listening right now and those sleepless nights, that 3 a.m. frustration feels all too familiar, maybe just consider this,
Yeah.
even a tiny action, like today. Doing a few arm curls with those water bottles while watching TV, or deciding to take the stairs instead of the elevator just once, that could literally be the first step on your own transformation journey, your path to better sleep tonight.
Absolutely. And ultimately, these small, manageable steps, done consistently, they have the potential to create a really significant positive transformation in your overall health in your life.
Yeah.
It's about empowering yourself, taking back control of your sleep, and by extension, your vitality.
Yeah.
So maybe the question is, what small step will you take